G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Pierre, Simple Home Brew. Now, don't worry, someone's mowing the lawn, I'll cut that out. There you go, is that better? Anyway, what I'm doing is a VineCo wine kit. This is a premium kit. It looks to be promising. I'll grab it. So what I've got is an Australian, Shiraz Australian VineCo wine kit. This one has grape skins in it. I'll take it back over here. I've never opened it, never done one before. Thought I'd give it a go and see how it works out. There was a big question from my viewers just recently. What can you tell? Can you tell me the difference between VineCo and all the other companies? Now, I've only ever done a VineCo and a Wine Expert kit. I've never done anything else because it's not really that accessible here. I got this one because I had a gig and I made some money. So I thought, I'm going to do a big one. I'm going to do one specialised one. And this is it. Hopefully it turns out better than the other VineCo ones. The cheaper VineCo ones, not so great. They seem to have turned out mediocre. It wasn't the greatest wine compared to the Wine Expert ones anyway. So I'm hoping this will come out good. And if you want to follow along, there's a fair bit in this. So I would like you to stick around if you can. Cheers. So what we got is the little box here. This little box is huge. It's 14 litres, and I'm going to add another, well, it's meant to be 23, so I'm going to add another 7 litres. Oh, hang on, I calculated that wrong. So 9 litres to make it 23 litres. Couple of things you got to do. Basically, I want to open it up, but I don't want to really open it up because it makes this loose. So I'm going to actually grab the little piece here and just carefully open that chamber up. See if I can get in there and get the instructions out. No, looks like I'm not going to be able to. These are all in the way, so I'm going to have to take the lid off. Wasn't planning to do that, but hopefully it will work out. Okay, so what we're looking at, this looks like that's the skins. That's all the grape skins. It does actually say Syrah Gapak Liblach Melchok. No, it's not Klingon, I'm sorry. We have a signature series. Oh, look at that. They're actual labels to put on the bottles when you're done. Very, very nice. I like that. Anyway, there should be 30 of those in there. We've got a hop sock. We've got some oak chips. We've got 1, 2 French heavy. Hang on, they're different labels. So this is chips medium heavy blend. This is French heavy TST. And this is also, oh, these are oak cubes. They're actually oak cubes French. Look at that. We have our pack for clearing and setting up. Talk about them in a minute. And the rest of it, our juices, our juice, basically. And that's it there. So I'll try and manipulate this so it's the top half of the box. The first thing I'll do is feed my nozzle so I can actually pour it. Right now, I've got scissors here somewhere. I will just cut this off. So I probably could have done this. I probably could have done it, but what are you going to do? There we go. So I'll put this bit back on, put that down there, pop that up here. You know what? I might be able to do the little boxing trick. That one. That one. And that might help a little. Grab my nozzle and set that up and get it ready. So there it is. So why I'm putting the nozzle through like this is completely to allow me to pour that into my fermenter without any hassles. I'll grab this, move it out of the way because I'm not going to do it yet, and we'll work on the next bit. So when I do actually put that in. It's 14 litres. I need to make up to 24 litres, no, 23 litres. It might end up being less because it says it's 14 litres, but I think the bag is 8, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go and add another 5 litres of Australia's purest water. It's called Puro, BPA-free packaging. It's basically 100% clean water, no chlorine, no chloramine, no additives or anything like that. It's just clean. Hasn't got heaps of minerals in it. It's just basic water. So same thing, EC118, which is the yeast, Bentonite, which is what we'll use today, and our chips. I don't know if we'll put it in straight away, but we'll look at that in the instructions. Don't know what the sock's for. We shall find out. It's probably for the skins. So Chitosan does not get used. Chitosan and all those products do not get used at the moment. Sorbate, sorbeline, and sulphate and sorbate don't get used at the moment. This is all for clearing and killing the yeast before transferring to the bottle. So we use that in 2 weeks or 3 weeks time. We're not using that. So these are all the items I'm sure we're not going to use. These are the items I am not sure if we're going to use yet. So let's try and get the instruction manual. Now these instructions are just like Wine Expert's one. So it makes me think that this product is a kind of a Wine Expert style product, and I think the same company is making it. So hopefully it'll be great. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is clean and sanitize our equipment, which I've done. And I need to pour 2 litres of pure hot water into a container because this is going to melt. I need to dissolve the bentonite. So this is a bentonite, this one here. It's 30 grams, and we need to just put it in hot water casually. We don't throw it all in at once. And stir it because it will coagulate. This is a bit different than the other ones I've done. Looking all right. It's gathering up on the fork already. Look at that. So bentonite is a organic material volcanically. It has like properties in it that help pull proteins out of your wine to clear it out. So you do this beforehand to mix it in with the wine so that it pretty much dissolves right through, and then those proteins can attach themselves to it as soon as they become prevalent. So I'm just trying to stop the coagulation. So if it doesn't matter if you had little lumps, but you just stir it fairly vigorously to just stop the coag. And of course add it like I have, just don't dump the whole lot in at once. So you can see it's coagulating on the fork. And this will make it all cloudy at first, but it doesn't affect the brew at all. It doesn't affect the flavouring or anything like that. It becomes pretty good, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to throw that in. Just realise it's going to be hot. No, container's not. That's in. I'll put more hot water in. I said I had to put 2 litres, so I'll use the rest to rinse this out properly. Ow, that's hot. Just burnt myself. And yes, I got everything wet like usual. Now, in the usual way, if you're going to do this into a metal container, you would do the bentonite first, and then add everything else on top. But because I haven't got a metal container, metal fermenter, this is all I'm doing. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as it's all in at one go. Okay, what's next? Next, it says include like grape skins, do to sanitize, include bag and blah 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 solution, sorbate packet. The included sulphite and sorbate packets is not used for this purpose. For blah 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 blah. Winemaking school. Make sure a sulphate solution, for making a sulphate solution. Okay, rinse thoroughly. Oh yeah, okay. So what they're saying is the sulphate solution. If I made sanitizer using Stelasan or Stelasan. They're saying you can make it using a sulphate solution, but you can't use this sulphate solution to make that sanitizer. You can do it with other sulphate solution. Anyway, that is not relevant to us at the moment. So next, clean sanitize resin bag, grape skins, cut along the bottom of the bag, squeeze the grape into the muslin lined container, rinse. You know what I've just done? I forgot to put it into a muslin bag. Oh my God. All right, well, we're just going to have to wear it like it is. It's going to have to be. I'm going to have issues later on. That's my fault. You're not recording, yes. That's my fault. I should have put it in the muslin bag, which is what this is for. Like I said, I've never done this before with this kind of thing with grape skins. Just reading the instructions, it actually says to top up the fermented to 23 litres, then add the grape skin. So it's actually not counted, which is a good thing. So we've got 23 litres of grape juice and another 2 litres of grape skins, which I hope the fermenter is big enough to cope with it. I'm pretty sure it's a 27 litre, Chubby's at 27 litres, so I should have enough headroom still for fermenting. And wine doesn't ferment like a really bad bubbly or anything like that, so it should be right. All right, we're at the next stage, making this wine. It's finished fermenting. It took a while. The actual fermentation took a lot longer. It took about 2.5 days to actually get started, which I don't understand, but it did get going and finally started fermenting. Didn't ferment vigorously, it just fermented slowly, and it tended to work really well. It's finished, and all I have to do now, I won't cover it, is, as you can see, the skins are on top. I need to transfer this into this carboy. This carboy is glass, this bloke. So I've got to be really careful with it. It's got a whole ton of sanitizer in it at the moment. It's been cleaned vigorously. Well done, well cleaned. I need to empty out the sanitizer. You don't need to see me do that. And start the siphon, so I'll do that now. Now, the other thing I have to do, I am working with sanitizer. Sanitizers are like a no rinse. The one I'm using anyways is Starsan or Stellasan. It's a no rinse sanitizer. You can leave a little bit in your carboy. It won't hurt your brew. Get as much out as possible, but mostly you don't want the flavour of it in there, but it's pretty flavourless anyway. Good thing about it is it's foamy and it sticks to the side of your carboy so everything stays clean. I do have sanitizer in a bottle, so I want to spray my siphon. It's an auto siphon. Now it has been sanitized, so it's clean as a whistle, but I just want to make sure that. And I need to start preparing this to remove the wine, what it is now called wine. So the lid off. I'm going to be quick with this. I have some foil. I want to use this foil to actually basically hold my auto siphon in place, because in the past I've noticed the auto siphon tends to wobble around in the carboy when I push in. We don't want it to move because we want our cleanest part of the wine to go into the new secondary. So I'll drop that in there very slowly, go down to the bottom very gently. I don't want to stir any of the sediment up. And once it's in, I'm pushing, I will be pushing, I am now. Stop moving. Moving. What is this called? Alfoil, aluminium foil, or some of the Americans call aluminum foil. Struggle with that word too. Anyway, that's going to turn, but it's not going to twirl. There's a camera down below, so you'll see it going in. You can see all the bubbles from the sanitizer as well. We try to do this without aerating it too much. So the siphon hose is going to reach the bottom of the carboy, the new carboy. So now I'm going to pull the trigger, lift and drop. Now it's a bit cloudy. I think I picked up a little bit of sediment from the bottom. Doesn't matter, I can clear it out later anyway. That's why we do secondaries. So now that's started, it's going to run until it's empty, and hopefully we'll get some sort of really good wine out of it. So this stage is stage day 14, let's say, or finished fermenting. Once it's finished fermenting, we need to do this to actually clear it more. We need to also add extra products to it to kill whatever yeast is left over, any kind of bacteria that might be in there. On that, we have to get rid of the CO2 that's prevalent in the wine that's here now, because we don't want bubbly wine, do we? So that will siphon. It'll probably take about 10 minutes. I'll speed it up so you guys don't have to wait, and we'll get to the next stage. So it's looking pretty clear too. I think the first part was the sediment, and that came through just quickly, but the rest of it's just pure wine. It smells really good too. Yeah, really good. So the next step is to stir in some sulphite or sorbate to kill the yeast and everything else. I'll stir that in as soon as this is finished. And then after it's finished stirring and all the gas is out, I'm going to add in 1 packet of Kieselsol. The next packet happens probably tomorrow, I'd say. It's extra clearing because there's so much sediment in it. It's going to need a bit more work. So yeah, I'll show you that now. Look at that. A lot of the gas coming out. So now I'll throw in the Kieselsol. All right, I've learnt something. To read ahead in the instructions. In the instructions it says there are 2 packets of these, which is Kieselsol, 12.5 mil. I'm going to put 1 packet in today. Quickly use sanitizer on the equipment because, you know, it is susceptible. I've been using sanitizer for everything. Try and keep everything nice and sanitary. I'm just going to cut the corner off and just pour it in. I'll give it I won't stir it or anything like that. I'll just put it in. It says just gently stir. So I'll throw that in there like so. Don't know if you guys have seen my past videos. I've done this many times and I've always made an absolute mess of it. But this time, everything's working well. Yeah, so I've just added the Kieselsol. I'll just quickly give it a bit of a twirl just to move it around on the top there. So what the Kieselsol will do is bind with the bentonite and pull any proteins out of the wine itself and push it, and yeah, pull it down to the bottom. The weight of it will fully pull it down to the bottom. The sorbate will kill anything that might be in there, like any kind of yeast that was in there or any yeast that might have dropped in there while I was doing all this as well. So all I need to do now is fit a lid. This lid is just the silicone lid I got off eBay. It fits this beautifully, keeps it nice and sealed. Put some sanitizer in it so no bacteria can go in and cause more issues in the future. So I'll just fill it up till about there. Hopefully you can see what I've done there. That's about half full in each chamber. And that would just stop air going straight down the chamber and back into the actual carboy. And then allow the gas to push up and out of the actual chamber as well. So you'll soon see this move down and this part go up. Probably got too much in there. Doesn't matter, it'll evaporate and go out anyway. So there are oak chips in this kit. So oak chips, there are oak blocks that are in this kit. So on day 13 or day after I degas it, I'll add the oak chips or oak blocks, as well as another container, another packet of Kieselsol, as well as another packet of Chitosan, or a Chitosan to help clear it as well. That is the final stage. Then I just let it sit for a few weeks to allow it to settle, twirl in the bottle a little bit. But anyway, I'll show that tomorrow. I'll film it tomorrow and I'll let you know how I go. All right, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Something I would like to stress to you guys, light is the enemy. If you want to keep your wine from having off flavours or too many off flavours, you really need to keep the light out. Any kind of light will ruin it. For as long as you have it, sitting on the floor in a house somewhere, you just cover it with a rag cloth. I use a t-shirt, so I use a dirty old, it was a U2 t-shirt actually, this one. And I've got a little bit of light spill here. So I'll need to quickly throw one of these just over the top half, because there's glass all the way to the top. And just wrap this around it as well, because I don't want light getting in, and that will help. There you go. So just a little bit of a hint. Okie dokie, I am the next day. Okay, this is the next day. It's a bit dark in here. It's a very hot day today, so we've kept the house all closed up. The curtains are open so I can do this videoing for you. So basically, as you can see, if you can see that well enough, the unit system is covered. I'll pop the camera down in a minute. Just want to quickly show you, it is already starting to clear out. I don't know if you can see that well enough, but good enough, I hope. What I'm going to do now is add the Kieselsol. So I have the Chitosan, not Kieselsol, Chitosan. I have to put the Chitosan in Chitosan, yes. I have to put the Chitosan in first. This is a packet of Chitosan. It is 150 ml of Chitosan. I'm just going to cut the packet open, but I'll spray it first with a bit of sanitizer. You know how it is, always. Give it all sanitized, make sure there's no bacteria growing on it. The sanitizer will kill most of it. I'm going to remove the lid. Look, I'll bring the camera closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I know it's a bit dark, but we'll do it anyway. Pop the lid off, just gently put it down on the floor out the way. Cut the little piece off that I sanitized, and I always spill this, by the way. Just pour that in here. And it goes all over the edge. Oh, what do you do? Gently pour it in. We've got to stir that in anyway. What this does is it actually helps more with the settling of the bits and pieces in the wine. Done. That's in. All I'm going to do now is stir it with the stick I used to stir the wine up before to get the gas out. Throw a bit of sanitizer on that, spray it all over. A few seconds of sanitation. And now it's done, I will quickly just drop it in, and I'm going to gently stir it. I'm not going to stir it fast, just gently stir it. Try not to get too much oxygen in it, in the way it is. And as I'm stirring it, I'm lowering down a little bit lower into the wine as I go. And that's enough. That's all we need to do. That'll further clear out the wine. Give that a wipe on the towel up there. And the only last thing I need to get in there are the oak, what they call oak cubes. So I'll open the packet up. Whoop. I almost made a mistake there. I think it'd be alright though. And how much the oak cubes have in it. That's the oak cubes for you. You probably can't see them too well. They're little blocks of oak. Bit burnt. We'll drop them in. It says to stir them in too, but the thing is, they're going to float on top anyway, so you really don't need to worry about stirring it. They just sit there on top and swirl around. After doing that, the last bit of Kieselsol has to go in, but I have to wait an hour for that to happen. So in an hour's time, I'll come back and I'll pop the Kieselsol in. That's the second packet of Kieselsol, to be honest. Okie dokie, it's an hour later. It's gotten pretty dark now. It's about 8 o'clock at night, or 10 past 8. I am now going to add the last chemical or additive into this wine and then leave it. So here we go. We again spray the Kieselsol bag. We'll also spray the scissors we're going to cut the Kieselsol bag with. I will open the lid, cut the end off, pour it in, just gently. All this just for clearing, eh? Unbelievable. Done. So I'll undo that so I can see what happened. I need to stir it, just gently. So this old spoon here has to be sanitized once again. And keep everything clean. There's a bit of hair on that. Isn't that bloody beautiful, eh? Dog hair. I'm getting it all over the wall. Okay. Quickly chop that in. Just give it a good, slight, gentle stir. Like I said, the wood chips that are going in there, they're going to add flavour to it regardless. And that's it. Just stir the top area. I don't want to stir it crazy. Everything will just fly through nice and easy anyway. Right, wipe that down. Get this old cloth here. The wall a bit more white because I sprayed it. Oh, with sanitizer. That was smart, wasn't it? Put that back. Now we'll put it away, and this will sit in my house because my house will stay at around about 20 degrees to 25 degrees Celsius, which is, they reckon, is an ideal temperature to have it at. For about, I would say maybe 4 weeks, up to 6 weeks. I'll leave it like this, and it will just sit there and sit there and sit there and clear out. After doing this though, I will come back to it in about 5 to 7 days and give it a bit of a twirl, just a gentle twirl, because mine's glass carboy, which is dangerous apparently.
the sediment will sit on the lips of the edges of the actual carboy, and if you move it a little bit, they tend to let go and fall to the bottom, which is what I want to do. That's all part of clearing as well. All right, next step is bottling. We'll see you then.
All right, guys, it's time to bottle our wine. It's been 7 weeks since you last saw me. The wine has settled down and it's been clearing since then in a room in the house, and just clearing out and aging a little bit, I'd say. 7 weeks is a long time to leave it sitting in the bottle, but it won't hurt it, of course. It's all sealed and got a antibacterial cap on it, so it won't let anything through. It'll survive nicely. It's probably going to age beautifully in this time. Today we're going to bottle it. We've got basically all these bottles down here. What they are recycled. I actually bought these as I didn't buy them, I actually got them given to me. And what I've been doing is just grabbing the brush, shoving it in the end. And now I have used these already before. I'm using them again. I reuse these as much as I can possibly do it. There's no point buying new bottles. Anyway, so what I've got in here is a solution of ABC cleaner. This stuff, I got that from Keg King. That is Atomic 15, basically 5 ml to every litre, 5 grams to every litre. And then I just soak these. Basically I wanted to get the labels off this time. And that's why they're soaking. They've been soaking for a while before I started talking to you. All I'm doing is rinsing them. I emptied the wine that was in there out, rinse them, give them a quick brush through with the brush, and then put them aside. And I'll do that for every bottle. I've only got 22 bottles, so just had to say that. I do have these little flagons. These will work as well. I'm going to use these. They're 2 litres, so I've got 2 of these, and I'll give them a good old clean too. So I'm going to carry on cleaning these. What I'm doing is removing these labels, and they've been soaking into water, so these labels should just come right off like this. I'm doing that. I want to take them off because, one, I don't want to go advertising everybody's wine, and plus my wine isn't their wine, so why put a label on it? And I basically just want to put my own label on it, which is going to happen. So throwing it in a box over here, I'll bucket over here, and just peeling it all off. Now that ABC cleaner, or the Atomic 15, really dissolves it really nicely. So there we go. Whoop. So what I'll do is I'll de-label all these, throw the labels away, clean these up, and we'll go to the next step of sanitizing. Right, we'll see you then. What I'm going to do now is I've made up some sanitizer in this bottle. Basically it's a standard solution of 1.5 ml to every litre. It's Chitosan, and it's kind of like Chitosan, but it's like a rinse-free sanitizer, so it can actually it foams up. The foam actually holds the sanitizer in the bottle properly. So when you do fill it up, all you see in the end is a bit of foam coming out, which is a sanitizer, and that won't harm you at all. Won't even affect the drink. I'm going to pour it into this little bloke here, which is like a bottle injector, and rinse all my bottles and hang them on the bottle tree. I'll show you the bottle tree later on. So see how it all foams up? So look, I don't have to use a ton of sanitizer. I just have to use enough to rinse the bottles inside. But first, they need to be dipped in cold water just to rinse out, to get any of the soap that might be left over in the bottles. If you notice too, some of the glue hasn't come off. It's not a big deal. I'll get it off next time I wash it. It'll eventually disappear. So now we'll get a squirt of sanitizer internally, just like that. And that I'll set aside until this is full, and then I'll take them off, put them on the bottle tree, and then start again. And that will go on and on until I'm finished. Okay, it's time to bottle. Basically, I've got all the bottles ready. They're all clean, sanitized, ready to go. They're on the tree, draining a little bit. I have a bottle of sanitizer. This is sanitizer in a spray bottle. Very, very handy for making sure everything's kosher. I have my wine uncovered. You can see it's on an angle at the moment because I've got a little prop just under here. You'll see that. To bring it forward a little bit, like that. And that is to get the sediment to fall to the front of it, so when I do put the siphon in, it doesn't stir up the sediment too much. I have foil. This is for the top of the secondary, and that's to stop the siphon wiggling around too much. That's going to go on as well. I also brought out my caps, leave them in sanitizer. These are all the caps for the bottles. They're ready to go. All I need to do now is start the siphoning. First thing I have to do is move the camera so you can see what I'm going to do. So what I do, I have my little siphon. This one is one I've had for a long time. I've actually been really careful with this one. I've broken a couple, and I put a little silicone hose on the end of it. I've broken a couple, you step on them, things like that. I try to keep things as tidy as possible in my shed. Now, I've rinsed the inside of this already with sanitizer, so it's very clean, very right. What I need to do now is pop this cap off. Hang on. Spray around the top areas so if there is any kind of bacteria it won't get in. Pop this little lid off like so, and that will just get put aside for now, and I'm just going to throw or slide the siphon in very carefully. Now the back end here is where I need to aim this siphon to, so I've got more chance of it not giving me a hard time when I try to push it through. So we put it in very slowly. It was gripping on the actual front end, so all the way until it touches the bottom. It should really be almost all the way in. And it hit the bottom right about now. That's where it is. Now I've got to be extra careful not to wiggle that too much. I'll let the hose settle. I'm going to wrap this around it to stop it from wiggling around too much while I'm trying to fill up my bottle. So all I'm doing is folding it up to like a little sliver, spray it with sanitizer. Look, it's not dirty, it's fine. And I'm going to carefully wrap it around the nozzle, tightly or firmly, to really lock it in, stop that from wiggling. And it's not working too well, but oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. The good thing about this is it's also going to stop or reduce the amount of bacteria going in while I'm doing this. So I've solidified that so it doesn't move too much while I'm trying to siphon. Hopefully that'll stay. So the next step is to start the siphon. Oh, I do need a bottling wand. I'll be back. So this here is my bottling wand. This is one I've had for a while. It's got a little spring in it and it has a little, like a valve with a washer on it. It's like a silicone O-ring. Basically, we just use that as a trigger to allow the wine to release from the tube and go into, sorry, I'm siphoning up, cleaning the actual bottling wand at the moment. So that sits in there. This little thing, when you push it into the bottle, it pushes down, so it goes into the bottle, and that little bit there pushes it in, which allows the fluid to flow. Now, it's not accurate perfectly or anything like that, but it works. It's good enough. I just need to attach that now to my silicone pipe, which I can. Just like that. It's attached, ready to go. And all I do now is I need to start the siphon. So I'll start the siphon into a bucket. Start the siphon, you lift your siphon. Oh! We don't want that bloody thing. Lift the siphon and that'll suck some fluid into the bottom tube or the outer tube. And when you push on it, the fluid will flow from here down the pipe into my bucket down below. And I do need to push on the little trigger down below. So firstly, watch the fluid come up. Then you'll see it flow out through here. The siphon has begun. So that's it. My siphon has started. It is loaded, ready to go. All I need to do now is start filling my bottles. I'll fill the big ones up first. Why not? The flow has started. So I'm going to fill these 2 bottles up. They're 2 litres each, and then I'm going to start filling the normal bottles up. So that little ripper's full. I left about, I reckon about 20 millimetres of space between the lid and the wine, just to give it a little bit of oxygen or air in there, because it needs that to age. I'll cap that. And that's the first bottle of wine, that's the first one. Now I'll show you on the normal bottles in a minute how to do this properly. We'll go from there. So I just hung this on the, I'll just hung this on the secondary. So I've got a little bit of bacteria, I might have, just guessing, but best to get that sanitized once again before putting in the bottles. What I'm doing is basically, I'm going to fill these bottles up. Can you see in that one? Fill these bottles up all the way up until I get to about here. And then I'll leave, well actually when this is in there, I'll fill it all the way to the top. I'll pull this out and it will give me an air gap of about 20 to 30 mil. That's what you need to leave in there to allow it to age. So just push the right into the bottom. And we just, if you can, hope you can see that. We just fill the bottle just like that. Now we're not getting a lot of oxygen through it, it's just a little bit, but it needs it anyway. And I'll do that right to the top until it comes out the top here. You see? Yep. And once it comes out the top here, I'll pull the rod out, put it into the next bottle, and carry on and keep going until they're all full. So I'll get into that. Once I've done all the bottling, I'll come back and we'll do a tasting. All right, so we're here. It's finally ready. It's smelling beautiful. It's got a nice little woody scent to it. It smells ready. It smells aged already. It's still room temperature. I need to somehow get the temperature down. Summer's here, so it's going to get hot. I'm going to have to keep these bottles all stored in the house. When you bottle these, they provide a label, so we know what it is. It's a VineCo Shiraz, Australia. I used normal bottles. People provided me with those bottles free of charge. They just said, I've got a few bottles here, you want them? And I go, yeah, I'll bottle them, I'll use them. They work fine. Sometimes you might have to buy some new caps for it, which I might have to do when I do it next time. But that's it, it's all done. So it's looking clear. Look at that. Nice and crisp. You saw it in the thumbnail. Let's taste it. Wow. Doesn't need aging for tasting. It's got a very tanniny taste, but a very sharp, woody flavour. It's very strong. The flavour is very strong. So it's very, very rich, very tasty. It's palatable. Palatable now. It is really good. Very, very nice wine, that one. I definitely will be getting a kit like this again. It was expensive, I must say. It was very expensive. It was $195. I paid for this through my gig money. So I did a gig a while back and I had a bit of money and I thought, bugger this, I'm going to get a kit while I'm waiting for other kits to turn up. Fairly expensive. Next time I'll think, wow, now this is really good. This is very, very tolerable. I mean, it's not... Now, I did a VineCo wine a while back, and it's not nice. It's not the nicest wine, but this one is just beautiful. Very rich in smell, very rich in flavour. Yeah, that's up there with the good ones. Very, very nice. I like it. I'm going to savour this one. I got two 2-litre bottles filled. I'll have to share that with a friend because I'm not going to bottle it and open the cap and then let it air out, and that's just going to ruin it. And about 20 bottles of normal wine. So 20 bottles and two 2-litre bottles. So I've got plenty of wine out of it. It's going to last me a long time. I'm going to put this in a cool, dry place in a back room in my house and let it age a bit more. Give it a couple of about 6 months and see what it's like in 6 months' time. But I can tell you now, it is beautiful at the moment, and I'm hoping it's beautiful later. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this weird and wonderful winemaking video. It's a Australia Shiraz, or Shiraz Australia by VineCo, and it actually is a really nice wine. cheers, guys. Have yourself a great new year.